Welcome, everybody, to Start, Sit, Different Day, your favorite day of the week, Saturday mornings, 11 o'clock Eastern. Love this show. It's what we do. We are heading into Week 10. I am Josh Hudson with Club Fantasy. You will not be seeing me during the stream. I'm just here. Pretend this is a pre-recorded message, and I'm just here from beyond to say welcome to all of you and to our wonderful guests. Faith will be hosting as usual. But we are going a little bit, I guess, different than what we typically do. And I love this because there's so many individuals within this fantasy football community, and some of them speak different languages on the regular, and that's okay. We love that. From the NFL and fantasy and Español community, we have Mauricio Gutiérrez, we have Gemma Martinez, and we have Renee from Freak NFL joining Faith today to answer all of your Week 10 start-sit questions. So blow up the chats. This show does not work without you. Let's get into it.
Hey, buenos días y bienvenidos a Start Sit Different Day. Josh is laughing because he was making fun of me earlier, so bite me. Like Josh said, we are bringing some faces that a lot of you probably know, some of you may not know, but if you know them, you love them because they are just fabulous people. Welcome from Víva México.
Yeah.
How are you guys today?
Muy bien, Faith. Happy to be here with you girls and all the guys in the chat and the community. Really excited to be here and answer the questions for Sunday.
Renee, how are you today?
Good. Thank you for the invite and glad to be with you. We were the last four in the airport this year at the expo hanging. So cool.
My goodness gracious. Yes. So for those of you who were at the expo, you saw Mauricio, Gemma, and Renee. For those of you who ever rode in my taxi at any point in the weekend, these three lovely people got to take the last ride with me of the weekend back to the airport in Cleveland. We did some exploring together. Mauricio claimed he was never drinking again right before drinking another beer. It is what it is. It happens. They had pumpkin, and he was like, "Forget it." I mean,
you guys brought me to a brewery. I mean, what am I supposed to do if I'm in a brewery? I mean,
but we tell you, and you said no. I will not drink another beer.
I told you girls I don't want to drink another beer. It was like, okay, let's go to a normal restaurant, not to a brewery. But okay, it was fun, and it was really good beer.
Ale, and Mauricio was like, "All right." Okay, fine.
I even bought a T-shirt of the pumpkin ale.
Yeah,
that's true.
He did.
Yeah.
But see, Mauricio was feeling it because he was. I don't know. If you've never been to an expo, there's a lot of alcohol, unless you just don't drink at all. In which case, fantastic, good for you. If you drink even a little bit, you drink a lot. That's. Because somebody somewhere is just going to be like, "Hey, let's get a drink." And then 5 minutes later, somebody else is going to be like, "Hey, let's get a drink." And you love them all. And it's like finally seeing all of your online friends in real life. So you just want to have all of the fun.
Right.
But on the subject of people who are not having fun this week is all of the people who are scrambling because they have half of their fantasy team is on bye. And if they're not on bye, they're injured. So thankfully, this injury list is not that long today. There's only one QB on the list, and that is Jaren Hall, who is out. For our running backs, we only have two who are out, Amari DeMercado and Dameon Pierce. However, James Conner, Keaton Mitchell, and Pierre Strong are all questionable. Our wide receivers are a little bit sadder. Out, we have T. Higgins, Zay Jones, Nico Collins, Treylon Burks, Devontae Parker, and Mac Hollins. Questionable is Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, Jahan Dotson, Demario Douglas, Josh Downs, Curtis Samuel, KJ Osborne, and Michael Wilson. Your tight ends that are out, none of them actually, unless they are on a bye, they should all be playing. unless you're a TJ Hawkinson, who is listed as questionable. So it's a crapshoot. And much to Josh's chagrin, even though he does not think so, we are on Club Fantasy think that kickers are people too. And out is Kaimi Fairburn, who was replaced by Matt Amendola. So pay attention to who is replacing whom and live your best life. Unless you depend regularly on the Kansas City Chiefs every week, in which case that's scary this year anyway. But how are you guys doing in fantasy as a majority overall?
Can I start?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. Not so great. Like I think in one of my dynasty leagues, but in the Scottish Bowl, I think that I am the second in my group. Mauricio beat me. Beat me is correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beat me last week, and we apostar.
Bet.
We bet one of our favorite dishes, and I lost.
Yeah. I ate lasagna yesterday, so it was great.
But I feel great. I'm doing great in my fantasy leagues. Only in that one, and in the Queen's Classic, I think that I don't know if I. This week we are getting match, right, Faith?
I haven't actually looked at this week's matchup.
Yeah.
I just know I beat Lisa Ann last week, and I was just living I was just happy with that.
Yeah.
Oh, we are playing. Yes, we do play this week.
Yes. And I'm in the middle of all the standings.
Yeah, I am not doing so hot. I am 9 out of 14.
Not bad.
You are in a 1,
Seven.
2,
Well,
3,
I think
4-way tie at 5th. It's crazy. I'm not doing so well in the Scott Fish Bowl. I made it to the semifinals last year, and I don't think I'm making the playoffs.
Oh,
Which I don't
that's
know why.
sad.
My team isn't bad. It's just it is sad. All right. So some of our friends, some of our new faces are here. They say hello. Miss Rachel says her favorite people.
Abrazo y besos.
Our friend Zach says
Hey.
hola. Our new friend
No.
Caesar says buenos dias.
Hola, César.
And then Javier has a question. Lo siento, una pregunta.
Let's do it in Spanish.
What?
Do you want to do it in Spanish?
Pregunta como flex tengo a Connor, Flowers o Lockett.
Nice.
¿Alguna recomendación? Mauricio.
Nice.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Okay, Connor, Flowers, or Lockett?
Yes.
Sí. Should I do it in Spanish, in Spanglish, or in English? A little
If
bit
you
of
want to do it
everything.
in English, we'll let
Yeah.
and
So,
then everybody. Actually, you know what? Answer however you feel comfortable. That goes to
Cool.
all of you.
Yeah.
So,
I will do it in English. I think Connor is a little bit of a gamble because he's questionable. I think he's going to play, but I don't trust him a lot this week. Say Flowers, oh man, I really thought he was going to explode the last 2 weeks, and it was awful. And Tyler Lockett, I think he could. I know that Geno Smith has been a deception all year long, but I think this is going to be the one game that this offense, at least wide receivers and QBs, are going to explode. So I will go with Lockett, mostly if it's a PPR league.
Renee.
Hi. If Connor is out of injury, I'm going with Connor. Then Lockett and Flowers.
Okay, Gemma.
I'm with Renee too. I think that I will start Connor, but if it doesn't, I prefer Lockett and then Flowers.
All right. right.
Gracias, Javier.
Well done. All right. Anthony says, can both Diontae Johnson and George Pickens produce in fantasy at the same time? Is that possible, Mauricio?
They could. If they could have another QB in the team.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a but there. They could, but.
Yeah, but there's always a but. I mean, you can plug in Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow into the Steelers, and yeah, both of them will produce at the same time. But with Kenny Pickett, I really doubt it. George Pickens is not comfortable with the usage he has been since Diontae Johnson returned. I think Diontae Johnson has claimed the wide receiver 1 spot in that team, and it's going to be tough that both produce. I prefer Diontae Johnson through the rest of the season and this week as well.
All right, Renee?
Yes, I prefer Diontae, and yes, with another quarterback, yes. I love Diontae Johnson.
So does our good friend Josh. Emma?
Me too. I prefer Diontae Johnson. I don't think that they will get the produced fantasy points at the same times because the quarterback that they have. But I prefer for a lot of in rankings. I have Diontae Johnson at 18 and George Pickens. I have him 33 in my ranking.
Okay. Beautiful.
I think in the draft in Mexico, we prefer Diontae Johnson. And when I draft with people of the U.S., you have George Pickens first and then Diontae Johnson. It was
interesting.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy to see. Jonathan says he's in a tough spot this week with Nico Collins not playing. Would you start Gabe Davis, Sutton, or Allgeier in a flex, Mauricio?
Oh, Gabe Davis is becoming an interesting play this week. I know he's the ultimate boom or bust every single week, but this time with Stefan Diggs added to the injury report on Friday, I think he's going to play, but probably could be limited. Hopefully not. But if today we hear news that Stefan Diggs will be limited, I will go with Gabe Davis all day long.
Renee?
Oh, I hate Gabe Davis because it's like a nightmare every week. And it could be awesome and you can cry. So I'm going with Sutton this week. But I think you can go with another player if you have the chance besides this.
All right. Gemma?
I think that if you want to give another opportunity to Gabe Davis, it's actually this week. Yeah. And I think that I prefer Gabe Davis because the match that they had with the Broncos, but in second place I will have Courtland Sutton, but I prefer Gabe Davis at only this. I will give him another chance this week to get started.
As they say in English, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 650 times, shame on me.
Yeah.
And please do not implore for Tyler Allgeier good week. We need Bijan Robinson. Please, Arthur
oh my God!
Please,
we don't know.
Please.
We don't know.
I hate that Arthur Smith.
As the coach, I think that is the billion of the fantasy industry. But well,
Artie doesn't care about your fantasy football teams.
No,
he said it.
No.
He doesn't care even for his own work.
Yeah,
he doesn't care about his own actual
very good players. There are awesome players that why they play.
All right, our friend Chris says in a full PPR, he needs we discuss this every week. I'm assuming it's Superflex, not that he's actually starting two QB. So he's starting Goff and needs to choose between Sam Howell or Kyler Murray. as his Superflex QB. There's a second part to this question, but I will get to that after the first part. We'll take this in sections. So, Mauricio, are you going Howell or Murray this week?
Since week 4, only 2 QBs has more fantasy points of Sam Howell, and there's Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. There's no way. Even if Kyler Murray has the upside because of the economic code and all the hype he has been getting, Sam Howell has been a stud for like 5-6 weeks, so I'm going Sam Howell, no doubt.
Beautiful. Renee?
Yeah, me too. I love Sam Howell.
Gemma, do you agree, or are
would-
you going to be contrarian here?
I agree. I'm totally agree. I think that in the first week we didn't realize that Sam Howell would be that kind of QB, but it's great. I think that even though he had so many interceptions, he is a good quarterback. That I think that he's always in the 12 or ¿cómo se dice? En top 15 or top 12.
There you go. Top 12, top 15.
Okay, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
See, George is 8-1, and his team is Tua, CMC, Kenneth, I'm assuming Walker, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, David Njoku, and he has Chris Olave in his flex. On his bench, he has Leonard Fournette, Warren, Keaton Mitchell, JSN, Tank Dell, Diontae Johnson, and Quentin. Would you trade Olave for David Montgomery if that was the rest of your lineup, Mauricio?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I mean, you are talking about if you want or you prefer Olave in your flex or Montgomery in your flex. If this is a PPR, I really would love to have a wide receiver in the flex almost every week. It's tough to say no to David Montgomery, but with Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker, probably Jalen Warren, it can be a substitute any week if you have buys or injuries. I prefer to have Olave right now. But it's a tough one. It's really, really close.
Renee?
That's a happy problem because your team is cool, but yes, I prefer Olave. And I don't know what is going to happen with Gibbs and Monty. They say it's going to be how do you say in English? Like a committee?
Committee.
So I prefer Olave.
Yeah. George just said that it's a non-PPR league.
Okay.
So that changed everything. For me, it's David Montgomery.
Non-PPR?
Non-PPR. I prefer David Montgomery. He's going to have the goal line work in the Lions, I assume.
I think so too.
I hope they give a lot of more snaps to Gibbs. But yes, if it is non-PPR, I'm in RBs all the way.
Gemma?
I agree too. I prefer David Montgomery because he's not PPR, but yeah.
I think we're going to see, if I may add what Renee said, that David Montgomery, I think he's going to be the primary back in the Lions backfield. Not in the same utilization we saw the first 3 weeks, but probably what we thought this backfield was going to be during the offseason. I mean, David Montgomery with the Jamal Williams role and Jahmyr Gibbs with the Andre Swift role. And we were excited about both coming into the offseason in this offense. I think both are going to be good. I think David Montgomery should be probably as a top 15 running back all the way the rest of the season, and Jahmyr Gibbs a solid running back to probably between 20 and 24th.
All right. Beautiful. Josh, so nicely reminded me that Chris had a second part of his question that I completely forgot. So we're starting Sam Howell. However, he also needs a flex option. So he's got Rhamondre Stevenson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jakobi Meyers, or Zay Flowers. Mauricio, who of those four are you starting in your flex spot?
For me, the decision is between my Don Rhamondre Stevenson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Rhamondre Stevenson is back, not to the top 12 we expected before Ezekiel Elliott signing with the Patriots, but Rhamondre Stevenson is back. He's having the volume. He's involved in the passing game, and the matchup is really, really favorable against the Colts. So I'm leaning with Rhamondre Stevenson because of volume and the matchup.
Renee?
I'm going with Gibbs and Jakobi. These new Raiders, I think they are going to use it a lot, and he's having a great season. And I'm from the Pats, so I hate all around the Pats in fantasy. I suffer double. So no, I'm with Gibbs and Jakobi, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just that game, the last game for Rhamondre. I'm still not believing in it's going to go that way all the season.
Gemma?
I prefer Rhamondre Stevenson. I have it 2 spot above Gibbs, and I think that the matchup it will be good for him. And I'm a little bit not as scared, but with Dave Montgomery back, I don't think that Jahmyr Gibbs will have all the targets that the Lions, or some of the targets of the Lions. That's why I prefer Rhamondre Stevenson.
Josh, programming note: next time we need to make sure that Joe, Renee, and I are all on the same show, so we can all just complain about the Patriots. Okay, you know what? We'll throw in Mike Faya while we're at it. Daddy's home. We can all just. It'll be a commiseration session. That's what we need. Marco wants to know, what should we expect with the return of Kyler Murray? Mauricio?
I think, like, if you consult rankings, you're going to see Kyler Murray in top 12, top 14 probably. But I really don't know if he's going to be at top 12 the rest of the season, because we have on bye Jalen Hurts, we have Pat Mahomes on bye, we have Tua on bye. So if you put those QBs on the rankings for the rest of the season, probably Kyler Murray is not going to appear at top 12. Like I said before, I see he has upside. He's demonstrated that he can produce at every moment. Konami code. He's talented. I think he's well surrounded with Marquise Brown, with Trey McBride, now James Conner, Michael Wilson emerging. I think this is a I don't want to say a very good offense, but it's a decent offense that Kyler Murray can produce in. I'm going to say that this week we can expect a top 15 performance, and the rest of the season probably the same, but we're going to have so many weeks, probably half weeks as top 12.
Renee?
I don't know. I like, but I have doubts for his comeback, because it was like 1 year out of the 1 year. Yes.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
250 days. Probably.
Yeah. I'm going to put Kyler Murray on my bench unless I have to put it on my roster, because I don't know how it's going to be. It's a tough decision, because sometimes they come back with a lot of hunger, but the NFL is so tough, and I don't know what is going to happen. So I want to see him play first.
Smart. Gemma?
Me too. I prefer to having him in the bench. Even though that he is a QB1, I will not assume that risk in this week, and I will. I don't know how to say it. Even though he has some economical and all that stuff, I prefer to let him in the bench. But if you don't have another quarterback to put in, I will start it. And maybe I think that the match is good. There he's going to have the match with the Falcons. I hope he return well and play as good as he played last year.
I mean, I think that's a solid way to approach it. It's his first game back, so you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Solid.
Be careful.
Carlos says, hey there, what about Christian Watson? Are you starting him? And then he also said that Mal's lasagna looked delicious.
It
Now,
was.
I feel like I missed out because I didn't get to see this lasagna.
Yeah.
But I also think that if I saw this lasagna, I would be jealous. So
You will. Yeah.
It was
Very good.
I think that it was delicious, but the aspect of the picture is because when I cut the lasagna and put it in the plate, it was like
It was a homemade lasagna. It didn't meant to look great. It was meant to taste great.
correct.
Yeah.
Because when it looks good on the commercial, it's not usually real product. It's like
There you go.
when you see a commercial for ice cream, it's actually mashed potatoes because ice cream would melt under
Yeah.
the lights. So looks aren't
There you go.
everything. It's how it tastes
Yeah.
that matters.
So
Speaking of tastes, does Christian Watson leave a good taste in your mouth? Are you starting him, Mauricio?
my advice is go and eat lasagna and let Christian Watson in your bench, please.
Renee.
No, I'm off that train. I think what's happening with the Packers is awful.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Sorry, Gemma.
yes, and Jordan Love made a very good first play, so we went like, okay, it is making the points, and then it went down. So no, I don't know what's going to happen with that Packers.
There you go. Gemma, what about you?
no, definitely not a start. Him, I actually have it in my starting season that I made for the girls. You have to be in the bench this week, and a menos que demuestre lo contrario. How can I say that in English?
It's unless he
Demonstrate
introduces
the
me-
opposite thing.
Yeah.
Unless he shows you the contrary.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some words are close enough to know what they mean without knowing what they mean yet. All right. Rachel, speaking of Christians, wants to know Christian Kirk or Chris Godwin? Mauricio.
That's a good one. And I think they're really close. But I'm going to leave with Christian Kirk. What we saw of Christian Kirk in the past, in the last 3-4 weeks, I think we can be confident in Christian Kirk for the rest of the season and this week, even against the San Francisco 49ers. I have him as my wide receiver 17 and Chris Godwin as my wide receiver 25. I mean, Chris Godwin has some of the targets that were meant of we want for Chris Godwin is now are going to Rashad White and K. Dotton.
Renee.
I have them like in the same page, but Baker Mayfield is the difference between this. It is going to the Titans, so I like the matchup for the Bucks and Jaguars. That defense of San Francisco now it's scary. I don't know if I have them both. I try to make them in the flex, both of them, but I think Kirk a little bit higher from Chris Godwin.
Well, there you go. Gemma.
I will go with Christian Kirk too, even though they get matched with the 49ers. I will take the risk.
All
And
right.
has a better quarterback as well.
Yeah, I have a better quarterback,
Much better.
but actually, we have seen Baker Mayfield good too.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But the level that have Christian Kirk, I prefer it.
There you go. All right. Caesar says, so before I read this question, if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you'll know that Joe Zolo, who's normally here with me, absolutely hates Taysom Hill. Doesn't matter
Me too.
how good he plays,
We're
hates
too.
Taysom Hill. Where's
Thank
Joe
you.
when you need him? Joe Mauricio could just talk crap about Taysom Hill all day. Joe will hesitantly still say to start him, but he will say start he who shall not be named because he refuses to acknowledge that he's telling you to start Taysom Hill. So Caesar, who has been around the last couple of weeks, says he feels like this is the week where everybody is finally confident and proud of Taysom Hill to put him in their lineups, and he disappoints, much to everybody's chagrin, or to Mauricio and Joe's point, it's a I told you so moment. I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. Gracias. Thank you. Ryan, shout out to our friend Ryan, says best start sit different day ever. I could not agree more.
Thank you.
Finally, the women outnumber the men on this show, and I'm here for it. But Ryan wants to know, in a full PPR, are you starting Amari Cooper, Drake London, or Zay Flowers? Also, Ryan, I appreciate you giving me both first and last names. It's like you know me. Mauricio.
Tough one. I'm scared about the Amari Cooper matchup against the Ravens, but I don't especially love Drake London's situation or Zay Flowers neither. I mean, Zay Flowers has a difficult matchup as well as against the Browns. They're going to each other, and I think that could be a low-scoring game. I mean, if you want the upside, I will go Drake London. If you want like a safe floor, I would go with Amari Cooper, but it's really tough one.
Renee.
I hit Arthur Smith once again. Oh my God! I'm going with Amari Cooper and Zay Flowers too.
Gemma.
I prefer Drake London because I like better the matchup with the Vikings. No, with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And in second one, I will have Amari Cooper. Zay Flowers, I will not take him.
Yeah.
All right. There's your answer, Ryan. Now, before I ask this next question, are any of you in a guillotine league? Guillotine. What am I? White? A guillotine league.
I'm out. I'm cut.
Shut up, Josh.
I was.
Josh is dying backstage because I caught myself in the way that I mispronounced a French word. How dare I? All right. Well, so none of us are in a guillotine league, but Wendy wants to know, in a guillotine, would you play Pollard or Rhamondre? So I guess, yes, basically, with everything on the line, who do you trust more with your life of your fantasy lineup? Pollard or Rhamondre? I know you all mentioned earlier that you would prefer Rhamondre over somebody else, but would you prefer him over Tony Pollard, Mauricio?
Let's see the face of Mauricio.
Yeah.
I love these two guys coming into the off season. I was like really hype about both. Right now,
Shut up, Brian.
I mean, I prefer Tony Pollard because the offense, he's in a better offense. He's having the majority of snaps and touches in his offense in the Cowboys. And I think the matchup is really ideal for Pollard to explode against the Giants this week. So this is now or never for Tony Pollard. I will go with him.
Renee.
Here I'm going with Rhamondre because
Wow.
because are going to run with the Colts, and I think the Cowboys are going to beat like the Giants, and Dak is passing a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the fourth quarter they are going to be out, and I don't know if Tony Pollard is going to have this super upside. If someone has the upside between them, is Rhamondre this week, and in a guillotine, you're looking for that upside, and I am going with Rhamondre in a guillotine.
Nice.
Gemma.
Very good. I will go with Tony Pollard because I'm not. I have play a guillotine already, and I don't know what the thing that Renee said, but I prefer Tony Pollard because the player that he is, and uh, Mauricio said that the Cowboys are a better offense, and I think so too. That's why I will prefer a Tony Pollard from Rhamondre.
There we go. Cesar says that he is second guessing himself on Cade Otton this week. So, would you keep Otton or would you swap him out for Everett or Chigonkonkwo instead, Mauricio?
Oh my god!
Oh, Okongwu, I couldn't do it. Between Everett and Cade Otton, it's really, really close. I think the Titans, even though that they're being flawed in the against the passing game in the past weeks, they're defending well against the Titans, and the Detroit Lions is all the way around. They're really, really permitting a lot of yards and fantasy points to tight ends, so I will go with Everett. And the Chargers are without Josh Palmer and without Mike Williams. Quentin Johnston, we don't really know if he's going to be more involved, so I will go Everett.
Renee.
Oh, that's all the questions around tight ends are so difficult. But
Yeah.
I think Kate Otton this week. I'm Baker Mayfield is last week he had like a 9 target. The last 2 weeks like six targets. I like what I'm seeing with Otton and Baker, and it could work, or you can have a 0 without a problem. So I don't know. I think Kate Otton, Everett, and Okongwu.
All right. Gemma.
I will start with Gerald Everett too, and Kate Otton. I will be scared because the Titans is, I don't know if it's the only defense or one of the defense that doesn't allow any touchdown to tight ends in the season. That's why I prefer Gerald Everett.
All right. On a related note, would you go with Kate Otton or David Njoku? Mauricio.
I'm still leaning with David Njoku, even though the matchup that is really tough against the Ravens. But I prefer David Njoku because of the player and overall, I lean with David Njoku. Even the rankings, I have him 13 and not on 17.
All right, Renee.
Njoku this time. Yeah, I'm scared of the Ravens, but yes, Njoku has a lot of more targets.
All right, Gemma.
And I'm agree with Njoku too.
All right. Quincy says that he is starting Debo and Tank Dell, and he needs 2 in a flex spot. Noah Brown, Douglas, Jakobi Meyers, Zay Flowers, or Dalton Schultz. Mauricio.
2
Okay.
flex.
Debo and Tagdale as his wide receivers. So the other 2 flexes, even though I love Dalton Schultz, I really don't like to go with tight ends on my flex spot. It's really tough to be confident on that. So that leans us to the wide receivers. I will go with Jakobi Meyers, and even though he has Tank Dell, I will be confident in Noah Brown. I have him really, really high in rankings this week because of the Nico Collins is going to be out. I have him as wide receiver top 30. So I will go Brown and Jakobi
Nice.
Meyers.
All right. Renee.
I agree. Jakobi Meyers is without a question for me. It's going to be there. And Noah Brown, yes, I love what we saw about the Texans and with Nico Collins out. Yeah, why not? Noah Brown is going to have a great. I hope that game. I think it's going to be a lot of points. So I'm in with the Texans this week.
Gemma.
I will go with Jakobi Meyers and Dalton Schultz.
All right. While we're
Nice.
at it, speaking of Daltons, are you going Kincaid or Schultz? From our good friend Wendy Mauricio.
Hi, Wendy.
The battle between the Daltons. So I think because of obviously the absence of Nico Collins on Sunday, I think Dalton should be in the conversation as a top 5 tight end this week. I'm still leaning a little bit with Dalton Kincaid, but it's really, really close. I think you're not going wrong with any of those tight ends. So flip a coin. For me, it's Dalton Kincaid.
Renee.
Dalton Kincaid.
All right. Gemma.
Kincaid because the match that they have with the Broncos.
All right. Shaka says, would you trade Olave and Javonte for Jefferson? It's a PPR league, and his other running backs are Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, Zach Moss, and Henderson. Couldn't pull a first name out of my hat there. Mauricio.
I love the idea to add Justin Jefferson. The fact that he's questionable this week speaks a lot of his availability for the next week, probably. Chaka has a really good running back, so he can be or live without Javonte Williams, even though I love him as a top 15 running back for the rest of the season. But I think that Olave and Javonte is really too much for Justin Jefferson, just a little bit. What I always said in 2-for-1 trades, I mean, the team that you are making the trade with is going to have to cut one player to make space for Javonte or Olave. So ask for that running back, the worst running back that the other team has. And so Jefferson and another running back, even though if you said running back Tajay Spears or, I don't know, another running back 3, running back 4, and made a deal.
All right. Renee.
I think Moss is we're going to forget him right away with Jonathan Taylor. A shame. Breece Hall. I know. I'm staying with Olave and Javonte.
All
Do
right.
we know which are his wide receivers? No, right?
No, we don't know.
No, he hasn't listed them.
But I think Jefferson, yes, it's Jefferson, but the point with Olave and Javonte, I don't think is no. I'm staying with Olave and Javonte.
All right, Gemma.
This is a difficult question because if you are searching your spot for playoffs, I think that Jefferson will be a huge impact in your fantasy team. You have a good RBs, Kamara, Breeze, a change. Maybe, hopefully, he will return in a few weeks, and I think that I will get the risk and make the trade.
All right. Jonathan says thanks regarding his question earlier. He says in his other league, he has Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown on a bye. So now he has to start Jakobi Meyers or Michael Thomas for his wide receiver too. Who would you start of those two, Mauricio?
Jakobi Meyers, and this has nothing to do what happened with Michael Thomas on yesterday. I prefer Jakobi Meyers, even though there's nothing surrounding Michael Thomas, and he's going to play, but I don't care. Go Meyers.
Renee.
Yeah, I love Jakobi, and it's awesome his season.
Gemma.
Jakobi Meyers.
All right. To answer Renee's question from earlier, Shaka says his wide receivers are George Wilson, Chris Olave, Adam Thielen, Calvin Ridley, Courtland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy. So, does that change your mind?
No, I love Thielen, Olave, and if you need 2 wide receivers, I'm fine, because you can put that running backs at the flex. I'm staying with Olave and Javonte Williams.
Gemma?
I will make the trade. Maybe I don't know if I want to ¿cómo se dice? Replicar, así como dar otro trade.
Mauricio's like, interesting, and I'm just like, didn't quite understand those words.
Counter, yeah, but for me, replicate. I was like, how do you say that?
Not replica, like replica.
Yeah,
no,
counter.
no, lo mismo.
A counters, yeah.
A counter trade.
Yeah.
There you go. A counter offer.
Yeah, counter offer.
All right. Mike wants to know Garrett Wilson.
There you go.
He wrote it. For those of you who don't know, Josh is yelling at me in the back of the private chat for saying George. You know what? I'm just going to start renaming people. It's up to you to figure out who I'm talking about. Garrett Wilson, Allen, or Evans in a flex in a PPR league. Pick 2. So basically, who aren't you starting, Mauricio?
I assume it's Keenan Allen. So I will go with Mike Evans and Keenan Allen. I had Garrett Wilson pretty high on my rankings on Thursday. Then, as the week progressed, I dropped him out of the wide receiver top 12 range. So I'll go with Mike Evans and Keenan Allen. There's no way I sit Keenan Allen. He's going to eat against the Lions and without other options for Justin Herbert.
All right, Renee.
Hi, I'm going with Keenan Allen and Garrett Wilson. Besides the matchup, Crosby is going to be a nightmare for Zach Wilson, but I'm going with Garrett Wilson because the volume. He's taking all the passes, the targets for Zach Wilson. The lowest passes, the few passes of Zach Wilson, but I think, I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
All right, Gemma.
I will take Keenan Allen and Mike Evans. I have it in rankings. Mike Evans is my 6th wide receiver, and
pretty high.
Keenan Allen is my 5, and 6 Mike Evans.
All right. So speaking of Garrett Wilson, in a flex, are you taking Garrett Wilson or Jahmyr Gibbs, Mauricio?
It's a PPR league. You got to go with the wide receiver. Even though we now all love Jahmyr Gibbs, go with Garrett Wilson. The matchup is good against the Vegas Raiders. Like Renee said, probably Zach Wilson is going to have a really, really uncomfortable game. But Zach Wilson, I mean, he and Drew and Breece Hall are the sparks of that offense, and they're going to have being bold. I will go with Garrett Wilson.
All right, Renee.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. Because if Montgomery it was out, I'm going with Gibbs, but no, he's coming back, so Garrett Wilson.
All right, Gemma.
Garrett Wilson too.
All right, and our friend Scampers just wants to know: did someone say start Taysom Hill?
Scampers.
He likes to antagonize Joe every week because
Mr. Scamper.
I mean,
Because
Taysom Hill.
I finally embrace the Taysom Hill stuff, and he is for the first time like in 3 years he's in my stardom column.
Oh dang!
Wow.
You are disappointing Joe right now.
I know, but I will say this: when we finally embrace it, it's going to implode. So what I am
hope-
actually saying is to seed him.
I hope I hope that sometimes, like Mauricio said, that well, go with that player, and then you go with that player.
Nothing
They,
happens.
no,
Oh, thank
nothing
you.
happened, or it's like 0 points or something like that. Taysom Hill, right now that he's cheering for Taysom Hill.
No, I'm not
Uh,
cheering for Tyson
Well,
Hill.
not cheering, but you are okay for a starter.
Please no.
Is the first time that you say that in, I don't know, 2 years maybe.
Yeah, 3
And
years.
I hope, because I'm starting that Taysom Hill. I hope because you start him. I hope you don't be like bad luck for Taysom Hill.
Like we say in
Basically,
Spanish,
hoping you're not the jinx.
lo voy a
Yes,
salar.
exactly.
All right. Jaime wants to know
Keep
in a
having
non
better numbers than Gabe Davis the last 4
Yeah, that's
weeks.
true. Yeah, that's true.
in a non PPR, he needs a flex spot. Devontae Adams, James Conner, or Hollywood Brown. He's the underdog in his match, and so he needs all the help he can get. Mauricio.
In a non-PPR, if James Conner is active and without Emery de Mercado, he should have all the touches, or probably 80% of the touches. And in a non-PPR, that's what you want to do in your flex spot. So I will go James Conner.
All right, Renee.
Yeah. In non-PPR, the RBs
Yeah.
are you must start them, and Connor is going to be that RB. Is he's going to play? Is out of the? It's not questionable
I
right
think
now.
Yeah.
He's questionable.
Yes,
I think.
questionable.
So if
I don't know.
he's not going to play, I'm going Connor, Davante, and Hollywood.
All right, Gemma.
If he is playing, I will go with James Conner, and if he is not, I will go with Devontae Adams.
All right. Speaking of Scampers just wants to say good morning, beautiful people. Such a better looking panel this show. Yes,
Scampers.
we know. Sergio wants to know Boyd or Jakobi Meyers for this week, Mauricio.
Ooh, I think I'm going against everyone here, but I'm going Tyler Boyd.
All right.
I love the Bengals. I love the offense. No T. Higgins this week. I think Tyler Boyd should be a high wide receiver 3.
Renee.
I'm staying with Jakobi. I think the Boyd is the one. If you want that upside, Tyler Boyd is the correct answer. And if you want like secure points, it's Jakobi.
Gemma.
And with Renee, I will go with Jakobi Meyers, even though Tyler Boyd has the upside, but I will go with Jakobi Meyers.
All right. Gustavo wants to know with Nico Collins' injury, would you rather start Dalton Schultz or stay with Dalton Kincaid? You guys answered this earlier.
Yeah.
Wendy, just give a recap in case he wasn't here when you guys answered that question.
I think we all agreed in Dalton Kincaid, right? But it was really close. I told Gustavo, I told Wendy that to flip a coin. I already I already flipped it for you, and it was Dalton Kincaid.
All right. Jesse says, thank you for your work. He appreciates it. He has an offer to trade Austin Eckler for Equanimeous St. Brown. He has Walker and Bijan as his other running backs. Are you making that trade, Mauricio?
That's a tough one. I mean, I was worried about Austin Eckler in the first 2 weeks that he was back, but now I'm not. that fear disappeared like in Tres, because now without Josh Palmer, he's going to be involved in the passing game. He's going to have the goal line work. It is a good offense, but you can't say no to the Dios del Sol, God of Sun, Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's really, really tough. And with Bijan and Walker, I think you can be without Eckler. Like in the other question that we need to well, it was good to have another more context. Jesse's wide receivers, who they are, but in a vacuum, I will prefer Amon-Ra and Brown in PPR leagues than Austin Eckler right now.
All right, Renee.
That's tough.
It is.
If beyond Robinson, we're, we're having the snaps.
Dear
or
Arthur.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Arthur Smith.
I if Arthur Smith doesn't exist, I'm comfortable with Walker and Villan, but I don't know what's happening with Villan. So I don't know. I'm staying with Eckler and Walker. And I'm
Gemma.
Walker and
Oh,
Villan.
sorry, Renee.
Yeah,
Gemma.
I will not get the trade. I will stay with Eckler too, because I love Eckler. In the first, and the second one, even though that we know that Bijan Robinson is a very good player, the team doesn't. Well, the coach doesn't allow him to make that kind of points or that kind of play that we want to see. And that's why I prefer Eckler. If I don't know what are the other wide receivers that he had, but I hope. Well, I will take a Eckler.
I think you girls are convincing me about this. I
Villan
mean,
is- oh
would
my
you
God.
prefer to have Bijan and Walker or Eckler and Walker? Probably.
Eckler and
Yeah.
Decisions. Speaking of decisions, we all know how Mauricio feels about Taysom Hill and how he feels about Dalton Kincaid. So here is the question of the day, Mauricio. Would you start Taysom Hill over Dalton Kincaid?
Of course not. Go without Dalton Kincaid all the way. There's no guarantees that Taysom Hill is going to be involved like he has been in the last 4 weeks. I know, like, he's 11 touches per game in the last 4 weeks and all that, but why we didn't saw Taysom Hill in the first 3-4 weeks of the season involved? I mean, probably it's going to be like 4 weeks involved, 4 weeks not involved, 4 weeks involved, like it has happened all the time for Taysom Hill. Go with Dalton Kincaid. He's a stud. He's finally exploding, and he's going to be the number 2 receiver in that Bills offense.
Renee.
Yeah. Kincaid all the way. I don't know why Taysom Hill make all that point, because if you see Hill at the game, at the court or
Yeah.
whatever, why the defense is not all of them run to Taysom Hill? He's going to do the play. So it's incredible. But yeah, Dalton Kincaid.
Gemma.
Dalton Kincaid.
Yes. Thank you, girls. Thank you.
All right, Scampers wants to know, in a guillotine, would you bench Diggs versus Denver on Monday Night Football, who is questionable with a back injury, for Hollywood Brown versus Atlanta, or Chris Godwin versus the Tennessee Titans, Mauricio?
I think Renee has more expertise in guillotine leagues. I don't play in guillotine leagues at all. So my answer will be,
Who do you
Regular
trust the
rankings.
most, basically? Who do you
Stephon
trust
Diggs.
the most?
I mean, if Stephon Diggs is going to play, you have to trust Stephon Diggs. Because
Well, the problem there is because
That's the problem.
they're playing on Monday. So
I know.
if between Sunday afternoon and Monday night he's out, you are up a creek.
Cut.
With,
Scampers,
without a paddle.
let's do something. Yeah, let's do something, Scampers. Drink a coffee, buy a beer for the afternoon, wait for the final injury report of the Bills. If Stephon Diggs is questionable, you go with Stephon Diggs. If he's doubtful or out, so the answer is almost answered
the answer is
by
flip
itself.
a coin.
Yeah. No, I would prefer Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, against the Falcons, that Chris Godwin against the Titans.
All right, Renee.
Oh, that's so difficult because in guillotine, if you have an empty spot, you're going to be cut. So, Marquise Brown is playing at 3 p.m. at the game of the
I
3
don't
p.m., right?
remember. Probably,
Who?
yeah.
Is
Marquise
the Cardinals? It's not the game at the morning, right?
Marquise Brown. Let me
Mm.
see.
I
Not.
will wait.
Not. He's not the game in the morning.
I will wait
He's at 4
20 minutes, and if Dick's still there in the list of injured, I'm going with Brown. And then that's what happened with guillotine. You always are suffering.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fun.
difficult. Yeah,
I will-
in Mexico it's so difficult to play guillotine because we can't play in the apps that you play. So we do it in Sleeper, and we cut manually every
Wow.
week. But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
You don't play guillotine leagues, Faith?
I do not.
Okay.
No,
I just recently started playing in Dynasty Leagues. I only have like 3 of them because,
Only.
spoiler alert,
Only.
I hate Dynasty Leagues. I hate
I
them.
have
Yeah.
2.
I hate them. But
know.
I'm in one of them with Russ Fisher, a good friend of ours, who it's a Harry Potter themed league. I couldn't say no. I'm in our club fantasy dynasty league because again, couldn't say no. So
I couldn't say no.
Yeah. That happens.
all right. Mr. Scampers wants to know, in a half PPR, are you starting George Wilson or Chester Cheetah, also known as Chester Olave Mauricio?
I mean, are you gonna seat someone that is named Chester? No
No.
way. Go
No,
with
of
Chester
course not.
Olave in half PPR. If it would be PPR, I would go with George Wilson. But this time, please go with Chester Olave.
Renee
Yeah. Olave.
and Gemma.
Chester.
Chester. That's gonna be it. Rachel wants to know, in a deeper league, are you going Noah Brown or Brandon Powell at flex? Mauricio.
For me, it's Noah Brown all the way. I don't know if it's KJ Osborne is going to play or not, but even though if he's out because of his how you say conmotion?
Concussion?
Concussion.
I like that Mauricio got help on that one.
Yeah,
Me too.
concussion. Thank you for the help, girls. I will go Noah Brown. I really love him. I mean, the Texans offense is on fire right now. CJ Stroud is playing really, really good. Without Nico Collins, he's going to be the Tank Dell, Noah Brown, and Dalton should show. And Dameon Pierce is not playing, and Devin Singletary hasn't showed anything for the Texans to rely on the running game. So it's going to be CJ Stroud all day.
Renee.
Yeah, me too. Even if the leagues are no deeper, I'm going to put Noah Brown at the flex.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Noah Brown.
And Gemma.
Noah Brown too.
All right. There you have it. All right. Real quick, let's run through the last couple. I just need an answer. We're gonna lightning
Okay.
around this bad boy.
Perfect.
So Jaime wants to know, in a standard league. Hold on. Okay,
Hold on.
yes. We did answer that question. I was like, wait a second. I could have sworn that we answered this question, but we did, just with more words in the question. All right. moving on. Antonio wants to know Boyd, JSN, Charbonnet, Moss, Spears in a PPR. Pick 2, Mauricio.
Boyd and Jackson Smith-Jigba.
All right, Renee.
Yeah, me too. Boyd and Jackson.
All right, Gemma.
The same.
Jakobi, Meyers, or Courtland, Sutton, Mauricio.
Courtland, Sutton by a bit.
Renee.
Meyers, always Meyers.
Gemma.
Meyers too.
All right, in a half PPR, if Chase is sitting, who are you starting? Michael Thomas or Drake London, Mauricio?
London, Sculling.
Renee, London.
London.
Gemma.
London.
All right. And then Connor wants to know pick 3 in a full PPR. Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, Calvin Ridley, Drake London, or Scary Terry McLaurin. Mauricio.
McLaurin, Ridley, and one of the both tight ends is going to be Laporta.
All right. Renee.
Scary Terry, London, and Kincaid.
And Gemma.
Lovely Terry, London, and Kincaid.
All right, George, our last question. Half PPR, Tank Dell, Hollywood Brown, or Javonte Williams, Mauricio.
Oh, in half PPR is tough between Dell and Javonte. I'm going Tank Dell. Have him top 10 wide receiver this week.
Renee.
Yeah, Tank Dell. I'm in that chip.
Okay, and Gemma.
Dale too. Dale.
Sorry, same players, different spot. It's to know if you are starting Diontae, or Hollywood Brown as a wide receiver 2 in a standard league. Which one are you starting, Mauricio?
I'm starting Diontae Johnson, even in standard.
Renee.
Diontae.
Gemma.
Diontae too.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that was Start Sit Different Day.
Yes. Thank you.
Well done. Well done, Gemma. Well done, Renee.
Thank you very
Mauricio,
much.
appreciate you guys stepping outside of your comfort zone to come hang out with the likes of us. We had some new faces today, which I have zero doubts are because of the faces that you are looking at today. So if you are new to Starts at Different Day, if today was your first Saturday watching us, stick around, subscribe, come hang out. My plan is to have these 3 lovely people back. I haven't talked to Josh about it. I don't care. I matter just as much, if not more, let's be honest. Before we say goodbye and happy Saturday and all of that fun stuff, let everybody know where they can find you and where they can find your work, Mauricio.
And me, an X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, at M. Gutiérrez NFL, and most of the work in estadiofantasy.com and in NFL Fantasy en Español through the app or through social media.
Renee.
In X, Twitter, at Renee Freak NFL, and we have Freak in 60 and 60 with number. And YouTube, we put all the content in YouTube, Freak NFL.
All right, Gemma.
You can find me at Twitter as @_ Gemma with all M Martinez, like here.
Mhm.
And you can see some of my content in StadioFantasy.com, in Football Close MX on Twitter and Instagram, and on Twitter in NFL Fantasy. I think that is at NFL Fantasy ES, right, Ma?
ESP.
ESP, yeah.
Yeah.
ESP.
En Español.
ESP.
That's right, en español.
I can say en español, yeah.
Josh, stop laughing at me.
Hi.
You know what? Just because he's been hiding all day.
There you go.
Oh, what are we doing? I didn't sign up for this.
Do the
Seriously,
intro.
thank you guys
That's
so
why
much.
I just
This was such a
threw you in here.
fantastic show.
It's
Thank
more
you,
fun
guys.
when you don't expect it.
Oh, this
Thank you. Thank you very much to invite
Thank
us,
you so
and
much.
thank all the people to is here, and I hope we have resolved the dot and not get more confused.
Oh, it's
And-
beautiful.
Please, the new ones that saw this show for the first time, go and follow Club Fantasy, Joshua, Faith, Gemma, and Renee. Awesome people and really, really awesome girls and guy as Joshua. So do it. Thank you very much for
And
inviting
follow
me.
Mauricio. He didn't say
Yeah.
it, but I'll tell you to go follow him. But like Mauricio said, if for some reason you are watching this later and you have a question that we just did not get to, hit up Club Fantasy on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I will forever call it Twitter. Elon Musk can bite me. It is at Club Fantasy FFL on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Ask your questions. Any one of the team will be happy to answer. Any one of the fabulous people who follow and support us will also be happy to answer because that's just what we are. We are a community. Follow Women of Fantasy Football at women_FF. For myself, Faith at FF_Leap of Faith. For Josh Hudson at the One Hudsonian. All the way over there at M. Gutierrez NFL. For at Renee Freak NFL, our friend Renee. Our friend Gemma at _Gemma with a G for those of you who are just listening and not watching. Gemma Martinez. This has been Start Sit, different day in Español on a Saturday. Have a great week. Good luck tomorrow. It's another nasty bye week with some good teams on a bye. So if you survive the week, you deserved it. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.